Recently I was sent to New York on a work trip. I had some thoughts and I put them in a note on my phone and I decided to read them out loud. It wasn't quite enough for a whole video, so I ended up reading a bunch of notes on my phone that are musings since, last October. Here you go.
Sam sparkles and ketchup. Click subscribe and join the clan.
When other people are tipsy, they text their ex. When I'm tipsy, I text my friend the email address of the guy who's talking my ear off about something I have no interest in, but my friend totally would. How is it that we find people like us so instinctively when we're young? I just came out to my childhood best friend after hardly talking for a decade. She was the first person in ages who I didn't have to explain what demisexual meant to. And the first person ever to respond, me too. How could I have been so lucky to find someone who understood me in that way when I was so young? And how could I have let such a precious connection lapse for so long? Being around people who get me is one of the best feelings in the world. But when they say goodbye, I'm alone again. And the reality of how lonely I've been hits me with full force. Why is it easier to make friends as an adult at a conference than it is, anywhere else? Today I went to Target because I was out of allergy medicine and moisturizer. So I stopped by the dollar section, as you do, and of course there's a bunch of Pride stuff because, it's June. But today, it wasn't just the rainbow-covered stuff we've been seeing the last few years. Today, there were bi-pride flags and pan-pride flags and trans pride flags and, most exciting for me, ace pride flags. The next thing I know, I had a tiny ace pride flag, a giant ace pride flag, and purple lipstick. Why? No frickin' idea. I'm not even doing anything to celebrate Pride this month. My dad was diagnosed with ALS when I was in high school. When I went off to college, we knew that the chances of him still being alive when I graduated were pretty slim. When I went home for Thanksgiving break my freshman year, we sat down, just the two of us, and had a long talk about what he wanted his death to be like. Aunt Linda would be the arbiter of his will. He wanted to be cremated. And most importantly, he told me that if he was unable to eat or talk, he wanted assisted suicide. I didn't know much about it at the time, but he walked me through it. I understood his decision. The day after school came back into session, I showed up to my public speaking class as normal. Being the speech nerd I was sitting front and center. One of my classmates started giving her speech. I don't remember her name or what she looked like. I don't remember if it was a persuasive or informative speech. All I remember was the topic, assisted suicide. And I just started bawling. Right there, front row, center, during her speech. The girl was a champ though. She did not let it faze her. Just kept giving her speech. Anyway, I was just thinking about how we have these vivid memories of people that couldn't pick us out of a lineup, and this one has to be one of the memories someone has of me. Someone put a song on and suddenly I was 19 again, taking Becky's Zumba class at Markin, trying to high-five Kyle as we spun around and mouth screamed, na 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 na. Sometimes I like to think about how one innocuous act can have a ripple effect and change your whole life. Like the butterfly effect, but more personal. Like how choosing to sit with the terrified-looking girl on the first day of my photography class gave me my best friend, and she shaped my perspective and sense of humor. Or how having to run back to school for my backpack one day led me to join an activity that defined my high school existence. But sometimes these revelations are not as fun. Like how introducing two friends led to a third friend's suicide attempt. If she had been successful, I would never have forgiven myself. Honestly, I haven't yet anyway.